look at the weather, try to look for some anytime touchdowns or maybe some props that you really feel confident about. But it's always the time for urgency, especially for a team like the New York Giants. I think that defense is something that can give Giants fans hope. And then if you get Dart under center, it's hope. And then if you can get Scatterboo out there and the whole building's going boo, it's hope. And as we know, hope works.
Fantasy Sports Today, only on SportsGrid.
If you're in the Super Bowl market, if you're in the futures market, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
Tyreek Hill is heavily connected to the Kansas City Chiefs. I am sure it would be Tyreek's first place if he could pick to go back to. At least I would think it would be. And the Chiefs have a need, and the Chiefs are interested, and they're not worried about any of his other question marks.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid. It's the most beautiful time of the year. No, not because of foliage or pumpkin spice lattes. It's because of football. SportsGrid has you covered all season long, covering every snap, every score, and every line move. Prepare, watch, win. Weekends are for winners. Only on SportsGrid.
They had clearly in hand at the end, especially in the second half, and yet somehow they managed a shank of a 60-yard field goal, and a flag comes in with no time left, Donnie, for a penalty. Do you want to know how many times that penalty of leverage was called all last season? Want to take a guess?
How many?
4.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Top of the hour power. I feel like we're just getting started on the Early Line. SportsGrid. Open up your day. Grab a cup of coffee. Crack open that white monster can of Ultra Zero. And boy, do I miss it since I gave up caffeine. I get my caffeine from Joe Ranieri right now because he's caffeinated this morning. You feel caffeinated this morning, Joe?
Oh, yeah, Donnie. I got the double espresso IV hooked up, and I am ready to roll here as we get ready for football tonight. Both, actually, I believe college and NFL tonight. And you might not be able to tell the difference between the two when you watch the Dolphins play tonight. So it's going to be a fun evening, that's for sure.
There certainly is going to be a fun evening, and all eyes will be focused on Orchard Park. Is it a blowout? Look, doesn't mean you can't have fun. Like, you can get blown out in a game and still cash in tickets. It's equally as fun to watch unless you are a Dolphins fan or a Buffalo Bills fan, whichever team loses tonight. And hint, we don't think it's going to be the Miami Dolphins. But we did leave off in tease, Joe, as getting out of hour number 1 and hour number 2. You are a Jets fan here, and this starts perfectly with Justin Fields, where you sign him from Pittsburgh. You hope that he can be your franchise quarterback, but if it doesn't work out, you didn't pay him a ton of money. But the same things are popping up where it's like, hey, man, Justin Fields couldn't throw the football in Chicago. Hey, man, Justin Fields couldn't throw the football in Pittsburgh. Hey, man, it doesn't look like Justin Fields can throw the football for the New York Jets. But now he's not going to play in this game due to concussion. You look at the line itself, it's -7. Sometimes when you say to yourself, all right, the starting quarterback is down. Ooh, I don't know if this is going to work out for us. Is this actually better in this football game against the Buccaneers to have Tyrod Taylor to say you have a whole week under your belt? You're not going to come in after getting 5% of the snaps this week, come in ice cold in the football game and play because our quarterback has a concussion. We're going to build around you this week, put a game plan together that makes some sense. And quite frankly, could you get a better offensive script now for the Jets than you would have got for Justin Fields and buying in to getting 7 points here, Joe?
Well, I mean, that's the whole thing, right? So you have an 0-2 team here with the Jets, and we know historically this has been a pretty profitable spot for those 0-2 teams. But to me, the story is about the offense here of the Jets now and Tyrod Taylor, because he is not even close to the same quarterback that Justin Fields is. The coaching staff of the Jets has tried everything to limit any of the improv that, Fields loves to go with and makes stupid decisions. they have been trying to avoid that at all costs. They're still a run team first, right? Donnie, that's exactly what the Jets are. They've said it a million times. They want to run the ball first. But I can't wait to see how many shots they take down the field here with Tyrod, because he's known as a guy to let it fly. He holds on to the ball too long, but he also is a guy that can complete the ball down the field. So I'm going to be very interested to see what does this offense look like with Tyrod compared to Fields here on Sunday.
You know, we went over also in hour number 1 talking about some of those topics like Arizona and San Francisco. Who's going to be a quarterback? Is it going to be Mac Jones? Is it going to be Brock Purdy? Does it actually matter as they're a 2.5-point favorite for you this weekend, Joe?
Yeah, no, it really doesn't. And I do like the 49ers that, hey, he's good to go, needed a week, he's fine. I like the ability to be able to back them. Everybody bet them preseason, Donnie, because of the schedule. They should not have any issues here with Arizona, who I don't know what they are, Donnie, quite honestly, because they have sleptwalked through the first 2 games of the season. Who are they? Do we have any idea who they are?
Don't know. Get in. Stop being so injured, San Francisco. Let's get a real gauge on them in October if they can get some players back, including some of their wide receivers. Looks like Brandon Ayuk starting to get back in shape here and starting to work out here. We're going to go 3 clicks in a row here. Boston Red Sox, Houston Astros, Chicago Cubs, all victories. Major League Baseball. We love it.
Yeah, we do. And it's going to be very into these final 2 weeks, especially with the Cubs clinching, Houston taking back control of the American League West, and the Red Sox, listen, they're battling. They're trying to stay relevant here to get that last final wild card spot. So a lot of baseball still to be played, a lot to be decided.
Exactly. And by the way, the NCAA, transfer portal. Thank goodness. Look, you know what you do? You open it up one time when everybody's done playing. You don't open it up December the 1st where 16 teams are playing meaningless football games in a bowl game, and some teams have to cancel their bowl game because they don't have enough players because you opened the portal before the season ended and players just want to get out of town at that point. How about this? One portal. Love to see it. Thank you, NCAA.
Don't know why they had 2 anyway. Coaches have been complaining like, what? So we've got to hopefully we got to remake our roster twice in a season. It makes absolutely no sense. College basketball only has 1 portal time frame. Now football does as well. I don't know what took them so long, but everything the NCAA does, Donnie, is kind of, head scratching at times.
Jorge Mas. Is he going to write a big check here to Lionel Messi? What do you think, Joe?
Yeah, well, they love him here, and there might have been a riot here in South Florida had they not figured out a way to get him an extension here at FC. But no, he is shaped South Florida and the soccer culture here for sure. It is pretty wild at those games, Donnie. I'll tell you that with him on the pitch.
Is any more wild than this? Cardi B announces she and Stephon Diggs are expecting a child. How about that for a topic here on a Thursday morning? Are we excited for the lovely couple here and also Stephon Diggs? Focus on football, man. Focus on football. You had a crazy offseason with, pink baggies and boat trips and now kids. Is he focused here? Is he focused enough for this weekend's game?
Yeah, see, it's never good when the headlines for a wide receiver on your team have everything to do with everything else except football. And has he even been involved? Anybody seen him out on the football field here? Is anybody impressed with what they stop giving us headlines about Diggs that have nothing to do with his football game? Because quite honestly, Donnie, he doesn't have a football game right now.
By the way, Cardi B's second album, Am I the Drama, is set to release on September 19th. Is this planned? Look, here's what we're going to do. We're going to announce the baby. The record comes out. You'll score a touchdown. We'll get back in the limelight at this point. And also, talking about Stephon Diggs, was asked in the locker room on Wednesday if there are any celebrations planned. And Diggs kept things coy by saying, quote unquote, we'll see. How about that? Maybe a baby shower during the season? Vrabel? Is Vrabel going to be there? Give a present?
Could very well be. It's going to be interesting. Maybe he's doing a whole, they're going to announce, is it pink or is it blue? What are they going to do here? The gender, what is going to happen here? The possibilities are endless. And just like that, Vrabel is pulling what hair he has left out of his head right now, going, you got to be kidding me.
Don't be stupid. That's probably one of the best life lessons you can learn. And the next topic here comes up. It's Kyler Murray. Kyler, just don't be stupid, man. Lay low, play football, cash your checks, get your endorsements, play Call of Duty in the middle of the night. You can't get hurt in the public landscape here. But instead, let's wake up one morning like, it was a polarizing thing over the past 15 to 20 years. It was really Michael Vick. And not because Michael Vick the person, what Michael Vick the person actually did by having a fighting dog ring here, we got sent to jail. So I woke up one morning and said, let me put on a Vic jersey and put a pit bull out there and put it out to the people, and they'll absolutely love this picture. No, they didn't. You idiot.
We just need to really have some self-awareness here as athletes. Do we not, Donnie? Because the idea that anybody in your camp or on your PR team was like, it would be great if you take your pit bull and you throw on a Michael Vick jersey and we put, oh my, how cute.
Herm Edwards,
what are we
Joe.
doing?
Herm Edwards once said, don't press send. Exactly. Don't press send. You'll save yourself a lot of headaches here. No more headaches on the early line. We're talking Major League Baseball handicapping next.
Enter into the magical world of McLuck.com, where even the smallest of spins can win real cash prizes. Adventure into over 1,000 of the best Vegas-style slot games. So what are you waiting for? Unlock your free welcome offer today. Join the fun where winners play and players win.
It's the most beautiful time of the year. No, not because of foliage or pumpkin spice lattes. It's because of football. SportsGrid has you covered all season long, covering every snap, every score, and every line move. Prepare, watch, win. Weekends are for winners. Only on SportsGrid.
Remember these names: AZ Fudd, Olivia Miles, Lauren Betts. Depending on who wins that lottery, that's going to depend on who goes one. If Washington wins, it's Fudd. She's from the area. If Dallas wins, they're going to bring Fudd to play with, obviously, Paige. If Minnesota wins, I think they go Miles with the point. If Seattle wins, they go with Miles, and the same thing with Chicago.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
I was looking at it through my phone at first. I'm like, why is there such a delay? And why are we getting pitch hitters right away? Oh, the pitcher got thrown out for some reason. Maybe he hurt himself. But no, turning out and seeing a brawl was absolutely hilarious to let that one play out. Just the way it is sometimes in baseball. We don't get a lot of good fights and a lot of good brawls and anger, specifically from two teams that aren't going to the playoffs. So good on them for showing that moxie last time. But it's good to see a little bit of a brawl and a little bit of that passion here.
The early line. Only on SportsGrid.
If a game is on the line,
give me the Navy kicker.
Oh,
the guy's going into battle in 2 weeks. He can't make an extra point. Come on.
From a mindset perspective, yeah. I'm not. Listen, we thanked them for their service. I love them. Okay.
Yeah.
But the bottom line is, if you have a bet and you have an academy kicker with a field goal or an extra point, you got to hold your breath.
27 yards.
27 yards. The kid shanked it from like 30.
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
Match made in heaven. No, I'm not talking about Donnie Rightside and Joe Ranieri on the SportsGrid Network in the early line, even though I should be. But you know what else is a match made in heaven? Major League Baseball in the afternoon, NFL football at night. It meshes perfectly together. Get your information. Get your facts straight here. Win some money before you even get into that NFL game, which starts this afternoon, Joe. 1:10 start. We're going to Detroit. Tarek Skubal's on the mound today. Rib cage be damned, coach. I'm fine. Put me in. I'm ready to play. Going up against Tanner Bybee. The spread in this game, or the line, I should say, minus 235 at the opening number. It now sits at minus 220. So a heavy favorite for the Detroit Tigers. A total that's listed at 7.5. Mind you, Tanner Bybee on the road this year, which he will be the road pitcher. 89 and 2/3 innings pitched, Joe. An ERA of 5.42 and an xFIP of 4.52. This looks like a nice bounce-back spot for those Detroit Tigers with Skubal on the mound. But can we trust Skubal at that big price point?
Well, no. I mean, can we trust this Detroit team? How are they now just 4.5 games ahead of the Guardians? They lost to Cantillo in the first game of the series.
Yeah.
They lost yesterday and get shut out there. Now, Bybee, who's been not great on the road, let's be realistic here, but how much are you going to get out of Skubal? I don't know, Donnie. I mean, they had to skip they had to push him back here. He kind of got lit up last time, and he's had more and more of those bad outings since the All-Star break. So this is a tough spot here for the Tigers. I'm not laying that kind of price because I don't know what we're going to get from Skubal, but keep an eye on him. He's going to be pretty important for them over the next couple of weeks heading into the postseason, to say the least.
Question, though, is what we're going to get out of the first place Jays at this point here, and that's Bassett on the road taking on Shane Baz. You take a look at the side, and this one opened up overnight around a minus 125 price. You're not saying minus 122s to minus 130s, depending on where you're shopping at, and a total that's listed at 8. If you look at Shane Baz's home starts this year, he's got a 6.28 ERA and a 3.91 xFIP number, which is interesting. It means the xFIP is okay, the ERA is terrible. What wins out today? Does Toronto continue to click down in Tampa?
Yeah, no, it has not been good for Shane Baz since July. He's given up a ton of walks, ton of home runs. He hasn't 1-9 with over a 6 ERA. So it has not been good, but he has dominated the Blue Jays in his career. 3-0 with a 2.63 ERA. So what do we get? What version here? Bassett has not been great on the road this year. We all know he's much better at home. We got another under last night, right, Donnie? Are we getting runs today in an early afternoon game in Tampa? It feels like we might with these two.
It does feel like we might. And also, how about this game? Are we getting runs with a 9 total at Citi Field? Early start, 1:10 Eastern. Big game for the Padres. Big game for the Mets. Vasquez is on the mound going up against Tong. Now, if you look at this game overall, you say, all right, when I bring Tong up here, how's he going to do? First 3 starts, 5 innings pitched, one earned run, but he gave up 4 runs total, only one of those earned. Start number 2 at Cincinnati, 6 innings pitched, 4 runs, all 4 of those earned. Like, all right, slipping a little bit. Third start here against Texas at home, 2/3 of an innings pitched, 6 earned runs. And look at this, for Mr. Vasquez, his road starts on the season, Joe, last on the card with an xFIP number of a 5.73 today through 60 innings pitched. We're getting runs today early at Citi Field.
Yeah, I mean, outside of that little 2-game winning streak, I mean, the Mets have lost 9 of their last 11 games here. It has been and the hilarious part is nobody who's been chasing them has been able to take advantage of what's going on here when you think about it. So I don't know. The Mets are, they're a falling knife to me. They are very hard to back. But I do think, to your point, what we might get here are some runs and maybe a lot of them. So I might be looking at a first 5 over in this one here, Donnie, because the Mets got to come out swinging. They got to come out hot here. And I think they will against Vasquez here. So I'm going to look at the very least, the team total over for the Mets as well.
The Metropolitans early. Let's keep it in that 1 o'clock hour here. 1:35 start in Boston today. Ginn versus Bayo. That's the Athletics taking on the Red Sox. A favorite here. Pretty heavy for Boston. Open up overnight in the 150s. Still sitting there as you see the placard coming up at a minus 158. As high as 160 at BetMGM. And a total here of 9.5. What's your expectations for the Sox after an extra inning win yesterday at 5-4?
No, please. Should have lost that game. And quite honestly, I don't know that they're going to win this game. Ginn's actually been very good here, but both of these teams have left a million guys on base in this series. There should have been a ton of runs. I think there are going to be a ton of runs back in this game here today, Donnie. So I'd be looking at team totals over here for the Athletics, that I think they're going to be able to get some big hits at big moments.
Home and away splits are an interesting category because usually you look at ballparks like, well, yeah, I want the home and away splits for the pitchers that pitch for Colorado because that's just not fair. Same thing really in Tampa and also in Sacramento, because you bring up something there with JT Ginn. He's actually number one on the card today, Joe. 37 innings pitched on the road. How about an ERA of 3.16, but an xFIP microscopic at 2.56? Also, he is in another good hitter's ballpark, but anytime you can get outside of Sacramento, you can actually say, hey, guys, I'm actually a really good pitcher here. I just can't pitch in that minor league ballpark where everybody hits home runs. Kansas City and Seattle, Joe, 2:10 Eastern today. Castillo on the mound versus Kolick. Across the board, the total listed at 9, a favorite for Seattle, anywhere between 125 and 130, depending on where you're shopping at today. The Bats came alive last night in Kansas City. Do they stay alive today?
Yeah, and I like Kolick a lot for Kansas City. I give them the edge certainly early in this game. I don't like Castillo on the road. They snapped that long winning streak of Seattle last night, Donnie. That usually means probably going to maybe have a rough time here getting one back in the W column. I like Kansas City, but I like them in the first 5.
Nice weather, too, in Kansas City. In the heartland, Joe, 85 degrees with a nice wind blowing out around 5 to 6 miles per hour. Comfortable temperatures. We see if we can get those hits there. There is more Major League Baseball on the card today. Sandy Alcantara is going into the Rockies, and also those New York Yankees that busted out the bats last night. Do you know where they're at today? Not in Minnesota. They're in Baltimore in need of a victory, and Max Fried is on the mound. All of those games and much more here, and fun. That's what we bring to the table. A lot of fun here on the early line on the SportsGrid Network. Joe Ranieri, Donnie right side. It's just what we do. Just what we do. Stay tuned. We got more on the way.
Look at the weather, try to look for some anytime touchdowns or maybe some props that you really feel confident about. But it's always the time for urgency, especially for a team like the New York Giants. I think that defense is something that can give Giants fans hope. And then if you get Dart under center, it's hope. And then if you can get Scatterboo out there and the whole building's going boo, it's hope. And as we know, hope works.
Fantasy Sports Today, only on SportsGrid.
If you're in the Super Bowl market, if you're in the futures market, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
Tyreek Hill is heavily connected to the Kansas City Chiefs. I am sure it would be Tyreek's first place if he could pick to go back to. At least I would think it would be. And the Chiefs have a need, and the Chiefs are interested, and they're not worried about any of his other question marks.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid. It's the most beautiful time of the year. No, not because of foliage or pumpkin spice lattes. It's because of football. SportsGrid has you covered all season long, covering every snap, every score, and every line move. Prepare, watch, win. Weekends are for winners. Only on SportsGrid.
They had clearly in hand at the end, especially in the second half, and yet somehow they managed a shank of a 60-yard field goal, and a flag comes in with no time left, Donnie, for a penalty. Do you want to know how many times that penalty of leverage was called all last season? Want to take a guess?
How many?
4.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Fried and Povich down in Baltimore today, and a hefty price on those New York Yankees. There's that Yankees tax we love. Opened up overnight at minus 205. Now sits anywhere between minus 196 to 206, depending on where you are shopping at now. A total bouncing back and forth between 8.5s and 9s. Fried, Povich in Baltimore. The Yanks, can they continue to hit like they did last night?
No reason to think they can't. No reason to think we're probably not going to have an opportunity to back the Yankees on the run line here on the road either. So Orioles, though, have been very good. Won again, but they always beat the White Sox. I mean, they haven't lost to the White Sox in Chicago since 2022. That is a team that the O's have just dominated over the years. This is a different animal here, although they've been playing better, these O's, but ultimately, I think backing Fried, at least in the first 5, Donnie, maybe lay that half a run for a better price is probably not a bad bet.
It's probably popping on the plane last night for the Chicago Cubs as they clinched yesterday in Pittsburgh a playoff spot, got on a plane, headed to Cincinnati. Cincinnati dying for one of those playoff spots. Hunter Green versus Colin Ray on the mound today. Light favorite here for the Reds at a minus 130 price up to, but looks like between minus 125s and minus 130s, depending where you're shopping at. In a total, that's listed at 9. Colin Ray's road starts this year, Joe, 54 to third innings pitched, a 4.86 xFIP number, which is in that danger category. You're looking for maybe that jet lag hungover. We had too many beers and celebrated last night because, again, Chicago's not going to chase down the Milwaukee Brewers. Difference that we talked about the Philadelphia Phillies. Hey, great, we clinched our division here, but we still got to chase down a team in front of us here. What are the expectations for you from a roster perspective, even for the Cubs today?
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's, again, the Cubs have had success against Pittsburgh all year long. In fact, I think they went 10-3 against them this year. So it was the right series at the right time for Chicago to finally get that postseason berth, something they have not had since 2020, Donnie. So, yeah, I do think maybe a little bit of celebration here. Colin Ray on the mound for the Cubs. The good news for the Reds is that they finally won a game in St. Louis there. That game was yesterday afternoon as well. So they were able to get home. They've been here, and they see what's going on with the Mets. In fact, there's probably a good shot, Donnie, that they will know the outcome of the Mets game when they start that game. And boy, if the Mets lose and you got Hunter Green on the mound and you can't win, and by the way, Hunter Green got lit up last go around there out west. So let's hope he's a little bit better today if you're a Reds backer.
Kikuchi and Priester, that's the Angels and the Milwaukee Brewers. The Milwaukee Brewers, again, trying to stay in front of the Philadelphia Phillies for that number 1 overall seed in the National League. They come in as a high price favorite overnight around a minus 200. Right now, looking at that minus 190 territory, depending where you're shopping at, a couple cents either way. The total listed at 8. If we look at Kikuchi's road starts this year, 83 and 2/3 innings pitched, a 5.16 ERA. Priester's been pretty good at home for Milwaukee. Is this a runaway victory for those Milwaukee Brewers today?
We talked about it all week. Give me the team total over for Milwaukee against worse teams and worse pitchers here. Kikuchi on the road, no. Priester never loses a game for Milwaukee, but you know what? They score at least 9 runs, it feels like, every game. So I'll take the team total up and over, Donnie, for the Milwaukee Brewers. If it ain't broke, let's not fix it.
San Francisco and the Los Angeles Dodgers, 10-10 tonight from Dodger Stadium. Chavez, Ravine, Webb versus Yamamoto. A favorite here for the Dodgers, give or take 160 to 165, depending where you're shopping at in a total, which actually opened up overnight at 8. That's down to 7.5 across the board. The Dodgers would love nothing more than to put some of those final nails in the coffin of the 2025 season for the San Francisco Giants. Webb is the best pitcher that the Giants have. Nice victory yesterday in extra innings. Now they go to the Dodgers and level up and try to get a victory today. What are you seeing today from this game?
Yeah, that was in Chase Field. That was an late afternoon game yesterday as well. But, I mean, what a pitcher's duel that was yesterday. But now, with Webb on the mound, going to the Dodgers, who finally bounced back against the Phillies, they got the right guy. Yamamoto's been their guy all year long. Feels like an under to me, though, Donnie, any which way I slice it here.
Yeah, by the way, I think the Giants only had one hit, as you said, going into extra innings yesterday and played at 5 runs. So shout out if you actually had a team total to the under on the Giants. Like, I nailed that. They had one hit through 9 innings, and I lost my team total in extras. That's a shame to do it here.
Crazy.
But it is Major League Baseball. A lot of afternoon action today. 4 games on the night slate. And again, that Thursday night football game between the Buffalo Bills and the Miami Dolphins certainly on deck as well. Now, you know what we're going to do, Joe? We're going to take the binoculars out. We're going to skip through Thursday night. We're going to skip through Friday and Saturday and take a look at some of those big board games from Sunday to get you prepared for the NFL. It's what we do. We only look out for the people watching the show. Getting you prepared is what we do, and we'll be back next.
They have Boise State, they have Arkansas, they have USC. There's no shot in Purdue. Those are the only big games that they have the rest of the way. They're not getting back into the college football playoff. They're not, Donnie. I don't care if they've won 10 straight.
Remember when they lost to NIU? No way, no care. What happens the rest of the season? They can't get in. Who was in the college football championship last year?
But they had marquee wins at some point.
I don't care. They lost to NIU.
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
I needed a mental break when the season was over. Like, because it's a lot. It's a lot. You get tired of training. But, man, I never get tired of playing golf. I love it. I mean, every course is different. Every day is different. And like, some days you're like, oh, I got this. I got it. Then you go out there and shoot a 95 the next day. I'm like, damn.
The Smiley Show. Only on SportsGrid.
I mean, I think so. You talk about how difficult it is to bring an expansion team into the league and have success in your first season. Like, that's fairly unheard of. And not only have success, but they're in the playoffs. So I think she certainly deserves to win Coach of the Year. There's a lot of different candidates that could potentially, you could make a case for them. But I think just with this being an expansion team and how difficult that is.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
It was nice to see that even though they couldn't follow the same blueprint as last season or just the way that everyone thought their offense was going to run this year, Josh Jacobs struggled and Jordan Love stepped up. And if you're a Packer fan, that's what you were hoping to see, is that in the moments where you can't rely on the run, can the quarterback that you invested a lot of money into, now draft capital, putting weapons around him, rise to the occasion, and he did.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
You wanted it, you got it. It's Carson Wentz, it's Jake Browning. Isn't that exactly what you wanted here? Cincinnati versus Minnesota? Well, that's what you're getting this Sunday at 1 o'clock. The line actually opened up as a -1.5 point favorite here for Minnesota. People buying in, Joe Ranieri on Carson Wentz. They're up to a -3 in the sports betting landscape here in the total, which crashed down from 47.5 to 41.5. I'm telling you right now, Jake Browning's been around the block a little bit in the NFL. He's got weapons at wideout. He's going to throw touchdowns. He's going to throw interceptions. I just don't know what I'm getting out of Carson Wentz. I trust Jake Browning way more than I do Carson Wentz in this game. Am I wrong? Or am I missing something?
No, you're not wrong here, but this game is going to be decided by the defenses. Which defense here can force the other backup quarterback into some issues here. Both of these backup quarterbacks have some pretty good weapons to work with, Donnie, except the Aaron Jones injury now for Minnesota is concerning. Now their running game, not exactly as potent as it was if he didn't pull the hamstring. But, you know, Chase Brown and Higgins and you got so much on the other side there where, listen, they're going to want to step up with Joe Burrow, knowing what happened to him last week. They're going to want to step up and get this done. I just don't know that we're getting over 41.5 points, Donnie. It feels like that might be a struggle in this game in Minnesota.
Because I do think Cincinnati can move the football. Like, they moved it against Jacksonville. And again, that's on a week where Browning didn't expect to get any playing time. They're not going to shy away from what they do, because the interesting part, as you bring up, is I don't know what I'm getting out of Carson Wentz, which I'm not expecting great things. Like, hey, Wentz dropped back 38 times and threw for 300 yards. No, he's probably going to have interceptions and fumbles and missed reads out here. But the question is what can that Cincinnati defense do to stop anybody at this point? And can they certainly take advantage of it? And also, I know you're not supposed to do this. Like, Justin Fields down for the Jets. Common theory is like, you know what? Maybe the Jets are just better without Justin Fields, which is crazy to think about, but it does pop into your mind. I'm not saying J.J. McCarthy is a complete bust at this point, right? But 7 out of 8 quarters, he was a disaster. Could Wentz actually be like, hey, look, Darnold did it as a veteran. Like, I know what I'm looking at, and I think I can execute. Why not? Like, why can't he execute?
Listen, I'm sure he can, but not having a running game is a bit of a concern for me. That offensive line is a bit of, I mean, this is a concern across the board for Minnesota. The saving grace for them is that defense, and it does look like they're gotten a little bit healthier here. Akuda, I believe, is back. Their linebacker is back. Theo Jackson looks like he's going to play. So they are going to have their complement back there on the defensive side of the ball. And again, that's what's going to have to win it for them. They got to keep the scoring down in order to give Wentz an opportunity to win this game.
Well, they're going to force feed that ball to Jamar Chase. Good or bad, interceptions, touchdowns.
Yes.
Let's see what happens here. How about Philadelphia? A rematch of the divisional round last year. Not going to be snowing this time around, where Saquon Barkley went nuts. Then the Eagles took their foot off the gas pedal and almost lost the game if it wasn't for a Jalen Carter. Oh, look at this. Nobody's going to block me. Let me take a quick sack here on a 3rd and long now. And away the Eagles went into the NFC Championship game and eventually did win the Super Bowl. But look at this. Line opened up at 4.5. Now it's down to 3.5. Do we see 3s on game day? The one thing we know about the Eagles, good football team, yes, not on track on offense. Kellen Moore went to the Saints here, and now you're dealing with a new offensive coordinator. Things look a little bit stagnant right now. Are we seeing a lower scoring game, or is this the game where the Eagles go, no, we're in the 20s every single game. We should be able to handle our business and come away with a victory here?
Well, we're going to find out. Against this defense is a different animal. I mean, this is now a one more year experienced young Rams defense here. Stafford, healthy, weapons. This is going to be a test for the Eagles, who haven't exactly been lighting anybody up here in their first couple of games. It looks like, to me, like maybe that offense still a work in progress, trying to get their feet under them here. They can win low-scoring games. I mean, 24-20, 2017 doesn't strike me as a high-scoring offense right now, especially against a pretty darn good Rams defense. Eagles may win this game, but if you're going to leave me the hook, I'm going to take it with the Rams at 3.5.
Yeah, I'm looking for a way to bet that game to see what comes out right, because the Eagles are hearing it here, certainly on local sports radio in the Philadelphia region, where it's like, okay, well, the Eagles got to change things up. You know, you're running 2 tight end sets, 90% of the time on the field, you're running the football. You got to change those tendencies. Maybe the Eagles do, but that's a pretty good football game that we're going to watch this weekend nonetheless. Denver and Los Angeles Chargers. This line is a little bit fishy to me, Joe. Opened up at 2.5 as a favorite towards the Chargers. Still sits at most outlets right now at a 2.5. Looking at the ticket count, close to 7 out of every 10 tickets coming in on the Chargers, and you probably would agree. They should be a public darling right now after their first 2 games. But something tells me Denver has the ability to rise to the occasion. I'm interested to see where this line actually ends up on Sunday.
Which version of defenses do we get in this game for the Chargers and the Broncos?
Yeah.
Like, do we get the Chargers on a short week that shows up like they did against the Raiders? Or how about the Broncos? Do they show up like they did against Tennessee? Or do we get 900 yards of offense for Herbert like we just watched Danny Dimes light him up? But to me, the big concern here is that the Broncos lose that Indy game twice. Have they moved past it? Are they able to correct the stupid mistakes here and shore up that defense? I think they will. There is no home field advantage for the Chargers here in any way, shape, or form. So I like the Broncos. I like them even more in teasers this week, Donnie.
How about this game? You want offense? You might get it here. Why? Because the defenses have been downright atrocious on both sides here. Dallas and Chicago. It's Dak Prescott. It's obviously Caleb Williams, but this total up from 47.5 now till 50 because last week, neither one of these defenses could stop their opponent, and maybe we're thinking the same thing. Decent weather conditions in Chicago expected here, as is in the early season of September. What are we getting? Because is this where the defenses bounce back, or Caleb Williams finally shows up, or you open things up? Because Chicago can't afford to go to 0-3. We know that. The Dallas Cowboys looking for a victory on the road, but it is roughly a pick-em out here between these two. I always lean towards the home team, and I tell you, I'm actually leaning towards the Bears in this one, Joe, even though they got their head taken off last week by the Lions.
Yeah, no, they did. And how they opened up as a favorite against Dallas was hysterical because the market quickly readjusted that line here. And now you've got Dallas as the slight favorite on the road against this Bears team. And I'm with you, Donnie. I think the Bears money has not hit yet. I think the Bears money will hit before kickoff. And if you can get the plus money now, and you like Chicago at home, I would grab this here. I do not like that Dallas defense. Caleb Williams, if you're going to turn the corner, this would be a good defense to get it going with.
Rome Odunze showing up with a couple touchdowns last week in a big-time losing effort, but still, he's probably going to be eyed up again this week for some big target action. Sunday Night Football, Kansas City and New York. The game kind of stinks, but it's kind of intriguing at the same time because why? Kansas City doesn't have a win yet on the season, and you want to see if they can possibly go 0-3. Xavier Worthy did practice in a limited capacity yesterday on a Wednesday, something to keep an eye on because they need him back in the worst way. But they, talking about the Chiefs, opened up at 6.5, now down to 5.5 at FanDuel, still 6s and 6.5s across the landscape here, and a 44.5 total. Can the Giants move the football against the Chiefs, or are the Chiefs actually in trouble and in danger of going 0-3 against a bad Giants team?
No, they're not. The Chiefs are going to roll this game here, and I know it's trying. Oh, you can't play road favorite and lay that many points. Yes, you can. The Chiefs will bounce back in this spot. They should have won, Travis Kelce, that game against Philadelphia last week, and they had an opportunity to beat the Chargers here. They have no problem beating teams over the years they're supposed to beat. I think they will, and Dable will be very firmly be on the hot seat after this game.
No way. Mara loves the guy. Hey, man, Jackson Dart's coming in. Give me another year. Like, you know what? I think you're right here. Stick around. Joe Shane, do you want to sign bad free agents every single year? Yeah, come on, man. Get out there and do that business here. We'll have some fun. Detroit and Baltimore. We're not going to get to this game, but it's Monday night. And boy, what a crown jewel that is from the Charm City that we're going to talk about later on Friday and also certainly on Monday. Cam's coming up next. Let's go.
They have Boise State, they have Arkansas, they have USC. There's no shot in Purdue. Those are the only big games that they have the rest of the way. They're not getting back into the college football playoff. They're not, Donnie. I don't care if they've won 10 straight.
Remember when they lost to NIU? No way, no care. What happens the rest of the season? They can't get in. Who was in the college football championship last year?
But they had marquee wins at some point
I don't care. They lost to NIU.
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
I needed a mental break when the season was over. Because it's a lot. It's a lot. You get tired of training. But, man, I never get tired of playing golf. I love it. I mean, every course is different. Every day is different. And some days you're like, oh, I got this. I got it. Then you go out there and shoot a 95 the next day. I'm like, damn.
The Smiley Show. Only on SportsGrid.
I mean, I think so. You talk about how difficult it is to bring an expansion team into the league and have success in your first season. Like, that's fairly unheard of. And not only have success, but they're in the playoffs. So I think she certainly deserves to win Coach of the Year. There's a lot of different candidates that could potentially, you could make a case for them. But I think just with this being an expansion team and how difficult that is.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
It was nice to see that even though they couldn't follow the same blueprint as last season or just the way that everyone thought their offense was going to run this year, Josh Jacobs struggled. and Jordan Love stepped up. And if you're a Packer fan, that's what you were hoping to see, is that in the moments where you can't rely on the run, can the quarterback that you invested a lot of money into, now draft capital, putting weapons around him, rise to the occasion, and he did.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
We love energy on the early line. You need energy in the morning specifically. We have an NFL game on deck, an afternoon of Major League Baseball, and who knows, the Ryder Cup on the horizon. Stoney Wright said it's Joe Ranieri, and the energy man is here. It's Cam Stewart, the Prime Minister, joining us on a Thursday. Thank you, Cam, for bringing the energy that I know you will.
Thank you, guys. I'd like to thank the mayor of Miami for getting me fired up. I don't care about the Chiefs. You should have beat your Eagles. Donnie could have beat the Bolts. You're right, Joe. You think there's going to be a boat race time. Just absolutely cut them. Hey, and this could happen tonight. What Bills team shows up, fellas? The one that wants to absolutely annihilate Miami and name their score, or, just kind of play around with them like a cat and a mouse, you know what I mean, and just win the game. That spread is so high, but guys, when we're looking at things, it's hard to lay that kind of point. Like, you're looking at the points going, what am I doing here? I do like over in this game, guys. I know a lot of these games, these primetime games, I first lean under, but I think just the Bills offense in general can score some points. And conversely, the Jets didn't do it, but the Bills defense has some holes, Donnie. You guys know it's a little bit leaky. So maybe Tua and Miami can get some touchdowns there. That 49.5, that looks a little bit light to me, guys. I lean Bills, but laying lumber like that. Last week, guys, birds. People laugh at themes. I was telling Kevin Walsh yesterday. Did you know birds went 5-0 ATS and straight up last week? I'm looking for a theme this week. It might be religious. Saints, Cardinals, but Cardinals also falls into the bird and religion theme. But I'm a Seahawk. Sure, I'll give you the chart, Joe. It's very complicated. Cowboy theme. Anyway, we got a lot of them. But I'm going to say, as a Seahawks fan, and we talked about this last week, they go in there to Pittsburgh, they beat the Steelers. Now you come back home against the Saints team and you go, okay, it's going to be 7-0. Donnie, I'm a Seattle fan, and I'm telling you, I like the Saints this week. I think it's too many damn points. They've been hanging with all their opponents. Could have beat the Niners, had the ball last in their first week too against the Arizona Cardinals. Seattle's just one of these teams. I know they eventually will have a breakout win and smash somebody at home, but that's a lot of points, guys. Joe, you remember the day when I worked with you? I found so much garbage in the dumpster. It was ridiculous. I'm looking at teams like Tennessee this week, Carolina, the Saints. It's going to be one of my plug my nose this week, Donnie. Yeah, but Donnie, bad teams can win and cover too in the National Football League. It's a week-to-week league. You know what I mean? Like, I'm on the Giants last week. They almost win that game outright. Things like this happen. So I'm looking at desperate teams who need wins. And another thing is, I know who's been the most disappointing team in the league with you guys? Or would you say Broncos one of them? I like the Broncos to beat the Bolts too. I'll take the 2.5 / money line.
Broncos bouncing back. Joe always has something to say there about those Denver Broncos. Can they lose 2 games in a row just because they couldn't get over that Colts victory? I want to get back to this Thursday night football game, Cam. You brought up some pretty good statistics here of this. I do think the Miami Dolphins are not the team that goes, well, the best way we can do it, which again, theory would be, let's keep Buffalo off the field. They're not going to line up and run the ball 45 times tonight. That's not what they do. They're going to go down swinging at this point, which means extra opportunities for the Buffalo Bills. And if you watched last week against the Jets, the Bills were just bored in the second half. They knew that the Jets could not move the football at all. If you get Miami moving the football early, that launches the Bills into, we can run this up on them and we can have a lot of fun on offense. How do you bet this game? Not from a side perspective or even from a total perspective. I'm having a tough time saying which Buffalo Bill do I love tonight in the odds market? Really?
It's a great question. I know with the Dolphins, Etienne's my guy. They're running back. I have the feeling there's going to be some quick hitters out of the backfield. And let's remember, last week against New England, he stepped out of bounds. They could have won that game. So I'm looking, you know what, Donnie? Buffalo has so many weapons on their team. I'm thinking, okay, who do we get acclimated in this point? Shakir will be open a lot. I know Cook's going to get his touches, but it could be a Keon Coleman day. I'm starting to think he is coming around. We've been waiting for him. He was great at Florida State, and I'm seeing a chemistry being built with Josh Allen in this spot. So I'm looking at Keon Coleman numbers. They're a little bit lower. And guys, this is what we have to think about tonight. backup running backs and stuff in the anytime touchdown, like 8-1 market and over. Because if the Bills destroy these guys, we're going to see backups in the game. You know what I mean? So it could be very, very interesting. Guys that aren't on the board. But Donnie, for Miami, Etienne, and for the Bills, I'm going to attack Keon Coleman tonight. First touchdown, I usually take a tight end. I'm going back to my boy Kincaid. He's been good to me. When I hit him at 16-1 before, I'm going to do it again. Love tight ends for first touchdown. Good numbers.
All right.
That's what I like.
Feels like you better hit it early. It really does, though, Cam, right? You better hit it early because the way Buffalo runs the ball, I don't know how many points Miami's going to add to it in the second half. So first half, 25.5 total points, Cam. If they're going to score, they better score early. Otherwise, that second half could be all Buffalo and Cook running all over that Miami team.
You're right, Joe. And another thing we have to do is the reason I'm liking this angle is because I think Miami actually comes out and does something early in this game. I think they can actually score a touchdown or whatever, and that helps the total. But if they lie down and die for Buffalo, why would Buffalo risk anything? They're just going to roll all day, 3-yard runs, 4-yard runs, tick, 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 tick. So that's what they're going to do. So I'm expecting early points. Good call by Ranieri. The first half over a look. And Donnie, I've been following golf. I'm watching the Open de France, French Open, whatever the hell is. Watch them now. They just started, but I got a guy at 25-1. He's currently 20. Adrian Sadier lost in the playoff to Alex Noren last week, and he finished 5th in the tournament before. He's also French. They're playing in France. I like this guy's form right now. So that's a guy I'm looking at. You've got all weekend to bet this stuff. Remember the name, Adrian Sadier. Mon Dieu. Bonjour.
Bonjour, baby.
Anyway.
By the way, Cam, if we're looking this weekend in the pro football game, a lot of backup quarterbacks are slated to play. How do you deal with that? Like Browning in Cincinnati, you take a look at obviously Tyrod Taylor and the New York Jets. How do you deal with this?
I love it, Donnie. Want to know why? I get line value with guys who I think are just as good. The only difference is, am I going to say Browning is as good as Burrow? No, he's not as good as Joe Burrow. But you know what he does? He comes back and covers numbers like he did the last game. What the hell is the difference between Tyrod Taylor and Justin Fields? Nothing. Actually, Tyrod Taylor throws a better ball. So I love backup quarterbacks, Donnie, because you're not laying numbers with these guys. You're getting 2 or 3 points of line value. Everyone's like, oh, this guy's a backup. He's going to suck. I tend to disagree. I love betting on backup quarterbacks. I think they put us in good spots. We get better numbers, and they're there to play for something. Browning's a good quarterback. I watched him at Washington. Sure, he'll throw a few picks, but he also is pretty damn good, and he knows the offense flawlessly.
And he loves to find Jamar Chase here. A lot of fun, certainly this weekend you can have in the NFL, but always a lot of fun when Cam Stewart joins us right here on the SportsGrid Network for the early line. Bringing that energy, Cam. Keep the energy high for the rest of the grid day. Thanks again for joining us. Love it! Love it!
Thank you.
They have Boise State, they have Arkansas, they have USC. There's no shot in Purdue. Those are the only big games that they have the rest of the way. They're not getting back into the college football playoff. They're not, Donnie. I don't care if they've won 10 straight.
Remember when they lost to NIU? No way, no care. What happens the rest of the season? They can't get in. Who was in the college football championship last year?
But they had marquee wins at some point
I don't care. They lost to NIU.
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
I needed a mental break when the season was over. Because it's a lot. It's a lot. You get tired of training. But, man, I never get tired of playing golf. I love it. I mean, every course is different. Every day is different. And some days you're like, oh, I got this. I got it. Then you go out there and shoot a 95 the next day. I'm like, damn.
The Smiley Show. Only on SportsGrid.
I mean, I think so. You talk about how difficult it is to bring an expansion team into the league and have success in your first season. That's fairly unheard of. And not only have success, but they're in the playoffs. So I think she certainly deserves to win Coach of the Year. There's a lot of different candidates that could potentially, you could make a case for them. But I think just with this being an expansion team and how difficult that is.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
It was nice to see that even though they couldn't follow the same blueprint as last season or just the way that everyone thought their offense was going to run this year, Josh Jacobs struggled. and Jordan Love stepped up. And if you're a Packer fan, that's what you were hoping to see, is that in the moments where you can't rely on the run, can the quarterback that you invested a lot of money into, now draft capital, putting weapons around him, rise to the occasion, and he did.
Game time decisions only on SportsGrid.
Where does the time go? 2 hours, sometimes just not enough for all the fun that we have on the Sports Grid Network right here on the early line. We do it every single day, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Eastern. Your place to be to start your Sports Grid day. And we always like to reach out to the public and see exactly where they're going today with some information. This is our Fade the Public poll. Seems like we're ready for this game tonight. Going through all the information, letting it play out, and seeing what happens tonight. It could be a blowout, could be a close game, could be a major upset, could be a lot of points, could be a little bit of points. That's the question we asked today. At SportsGrid, our X account here on social media, the question today, what is your best bet for Dolphins versus Bills on Thursday Night Football? 4 options: over, under, Dolphins, or Bills. For me, I went contrarian, even though I don't love it here. I actually voted for the under 49.5. I'm the 21% out here. I don't love it, but I'm just saying, like, is there a way that everybody just expects a ton of points? I just went contrarian there to see what happens. What do you think, Joe?
Yeah, I mean, I know a lot of guys that are taking the points with Miami here tonight. And, you know, history tells us that, you know, an 0-2 team in this spot getting more than 3.5 points. It's been well over 60% that they have covered since 2010. So it's a good spot to back a team like Miami, desperate here. Having said that, to me, I think it's going to be a tale of two halves. If Miami is not in this game early, Donnie, then this game is going under in a big way in the second half, because I just don't trust the Dolphins to stop the Bills' offense enough. And the Bills with that running game will just chew the clock up like they did last week against the Jets, and it was over in the first half. That's what you got to worry about here tonight.
Yeah, that 24-10 game, right? Midway through the fourth quarter, Bills got the football on their own 19-yard line. 7.5-minute drive, ends in a field goal, and away you go with an under in that game. We'll see what plays out tonight, but certainly looking forward to it. We could get fireworks tonight between these two teams, and also we could get one of those, hey, Joe, did you see what happened early Friday morning? A certain head coach was let go, and so was the general manager. Like, if it goes that bad, you might hear about that on the tarmac firings for the Miami Dolphins and Stephen Ross, the owner of the Miami Dolphins. But also, you want to make some money tonight. When we tell you we got your back, going 0-2 2 nights ago, last night 2-0. Tonight, we're looking to go 2-0. This is our buy plays. Major League Baseball seems like it's going to be on the docket. Afternoon action, Joe. Where are we going?
Yeah, so there are a lot of afternoon action, but I'm going to choose one of these games starting a little bit later here, Donnie, and I am going to look at the Cincinnati Reds. By the time this game and the first pitch comes off, you're going to have the Reds are going to know what the outcome of the Mets and Padres game was. And if the Padres pull it out and beat the Mets here, well, the Reds are going to be salivating because the Cubs just clinched the #1 wild card spot, and they're in. So there is not a lot going on here, Donnie, for the Cubs to play for. Hunter Green on the mound for the Reds, their ace. This is a spot that it's just too good at this price not to back him at home, and that's exactly what I'm going to do.
Getting some CLV now as I see FanDuel moved to just minus 134, DraftKings minus 144, BetMGM minus 145 on the right side. So you don't even have to theoretically win this game, Joe. You got CLV. That's all your job is, correct? You don't even have to win it anymore.
I got an entire bookshelf filled with CLV trophies, Donnie. Yes. Add another one.
How about How about a trophy we want today to go 2-0? I'm headed to New York City. I'm going to Queens, and I'm headed down to Citi Field. That's the San Diego Padres taking on the New York Mets. Vasquez versus Tong. Tong's not a great pitcher, but I'm focusing on Randy Vasquez. One of those guys that's slippery, right? Super high xFIP numbers because he walks too many people, not get a lot of the strikeouts. But I do think the Mets bats come to play today in a pivotal game for actually both of these teams. I'm taking the New York Mets at a minus 132 price to knock off the San Diego Padres at 1 o'clock. So here's what's going to happen. Before dinner time, I'll cash my ticket. Then you want some dessert. Joe Ranieri steps up to the table with the Cincinnati Reds and handles his business at 7 o'clock. That sounds like a good night, Joe, doesn't it?
Boom. Win, Donnie, is what it sounds like to me here. And that's it. I mean, win a game before you have lunch. And then win one right after dinner. So you're good to go here tonight.
Good to go. By the way, talking about good to go, tomorrow is a Football Friday right here on the early line. My goodness, 2 hours won't be enough tomorrow. We have so much action packed from the college football landscape to the professional landscape to recap what happened tonight in that Thursday night football game and so much more. For Donnie Rightside and Joe Ranieri, thank you for tuning into the early line right here on the SportsGrid Network. And for all the people behind the scenes that make us look good, we'll do it again tomorrow morning. See you then.